I grew up in Oxfordshire and first came down to Somerset in 2015 for work. I moved down here full-time in 2019, which was 4 years before Thorn Wood Forge began. I'd been a blacksmith for 10 years and the time had come for me to set up my own workshop. I wasn't wholly fulfilled with the work I was doing at the time, and so I decided to look for my own space. I knew the owners of this farm through a family friend, and so I just approached them and asked if they had anywhere that would work. And they showed me to this knackered looking barn full of rubbish and dead rats. And it was kind of then that Thornwood Forge began, really. We spent some time, a few weekends with some friends, taking the rubbish out, building a wall and the mezzanine, and then the forges were lit for the first time in March 2023. We're based in the middle of a 1,200-acre estate in South Somerset, which is also a working farm. The workshop's surrounded by squirrels, badgers, foxes, deer, all living in beautiful ancient woodland. And Thornwood Forge really is of its landscape. The name is a nod to a nearby patch of woodland, and it's that connection with the natural world that really gives us the inspiration for what we do. And we're only just getting started. In 6 weeks, we move to a workshop that's 2.5 times the size. And our current workshop becomes a teaching workshop dedicated to sharing what we do with other people.
Blacksmithing to me is a labour of love, more a lifestyle than a job. And so to be able to provide high quality tools to the wider community of craftspeople who share these ideals and also cherish their tools is an absolute joy.
The aim is simple: to deliver exceptional British handcrafted tools to endure generations of use that connect people with the natural world. That's our focus. Above all else, our priority is the quality and longevity of our tools. The things we make will outlive us, and I absolutely love that about what we do. Another vital element is the team. This isn't about one person and one person's vision, but about what everybody can bring to the table. Finally, it's about integrity. We deliver what we promise. We stick to our word. Our tools come with a lifetime guarantee, and we know that if cared for, they'll last for more than that. Growing up in Oxfordshire, I had a next door neighbour called Brian. And Brian must have been in his 50s when I was born. He was a lot older than myself. But he really introduced me to the natural world. He was the sort of guy who would have pet badgers, pet jackdaws that would bring him foil and coins. He told me a story where he had a pet squirrel and he was driving along one day and his pet squirrel was running around the car and it got under his brake pedal. And he had to make a decision between having it crash or squashing his squirrel. Thankfully, the squirrel won the day. But Brian was really the inspiration for me making knives in the first place. My first proper fixed blade knife was given to me from Brian. And I remember it very clearly. It was on the day that he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. That was a very meaningful day. I remember that day very, very clearly. And we were sitting in my parents' living room and he was upset and I didn't know why at the time. And it was the first time I'd ever seen Brian upset. And it was because he had just been diagnosed with Parkinson's. And it was then that he sat me down and gave me his knife. It wasn't just any knife. It was his knife, the one that he used, the one that he had had with him for decades. And that feeling is what I've been chasing ever since. I want to be able to give that feeling to someone else. That feeling of a tool that has been cherished and valued by someone else that is then passed down through the generations. And if it wasn't for Brian, I wouldn't have started making knives. He got the first knife that I ever made. Poor Brian. But that's really where this all started. And that led me into bushcraft and learning about the natural world. And that's where all the inspiration for what we make here at Thorn Wood Forge comes from. Our story started small, with just myself, a hammer and an anvil. And as demand grew, so did our workshop, with more people, tools and space. Over the last 18 months, there have been so much product development, making the same thing over and over and over with tiny tweaks to really hone in on what we really like and what we think will be the perfect tool for the outdoors. And this goes with all our products, you know, whether it's an axe or a knife, there's always something to change. We can always get better, and we try to incorporate traditional techniques but bring them into the modern age. We also like to collaborate with other people as often as possible, whether it's doing a product or a course where we can teach other people. We like to bring in other expertise and experience wherever we can. A lot of blacksmithing courses especially lack context. So people come here and they would make a knife or they would make an axe and they would leave here having absolutely no idea how to use it. I didn't really like that. It didn't feel like the complete story. For me, wouldn't it be so much more special if somebody can learn to make a knife or an axe and then learn how to use the tool they've just made? That's where the magic is for me, using something you've just made to make something else. And that's what I really want to share with other people. And that's why we try to get other people's expertise in. So we'll get a chef in to teach people how to use their chef's knives. Or we'll get a bushcraft instructor in to teach people how to use their axe, making tent pegs and wooden mallets and pot hangers and all these things that give people much more context to what we do in the forge. We always get inspiration from other people we work with as well. I'm just one person, and as I said, Thornwood has never been about one person. It's so important to gather other people's ideas and experience, because someone will say something that I would never think of in a million years. We've got a fantastic group of people here at the Forge. First, there's my business partner, Sam, who I've known for many years. We met at a climbing gym and we kind of bonded over a love for the outdoors. He has brought so much drive and engineering experience here. It's been fantastic.
I firmly believe that the tools that are crafted here and hand forged here are companions for the natural world, to build memories, to share experiences with. And that to me is just an exceptional purpose in life, and a purpose that I'm really driven by and want to give to people.
Next, we have Steve and Jimmy. I've worked with these guys for years, and when I set up Thorn Wood Forge, they were kind enough to come and join me. They are each extremely skilled in what they do, fantastic smiths, and they have so many ideas that they just chuck in, coming in left, right and centre, things that I'd never even think of, that have really helped form Thornwood into what it is today. We wouldn't be where we are without them. We also have Tom. He's a farrier who has unbelievable skills on the forge, and he works here part-time whilst continuing his own work with horses.
Over the years, I've worked in a number of different industries, but I always keep coming back to wanting to work with my hands. So when I found blacksmithing and started getting into it, even when I was working full-time in other jobs, I found myself wanting to do this more and more. Getting to do it full-time in Thornwood has made a huge difference, because not only am I able to work with my hands, but I'm able to, pick up and hold the thing that I've made at the end of the day, rather than it just being numbers on a spreadsheet or something like that. And I think it's the tactile nature of making not just beautiful objects, but also things that are going to be used. So being able to make a tool that serves a purpose, has a function, and I think does really well at that.
Besides the people who just work here, there have been so many friends and family who helped out, especially in the early days, getting the building up to scratch and helping out all over to really build this into what it is today. Lots of people make things. Most people who have made something never think twice about the tools they used to do it. The tool just exists and it's never given a second thought. But to be able to make things that make other things is, to me, the best thing in the world. To build that bridge between a person and their material is pretty special. And not only that, but to be able to share it through what we make and through the courses we run is just fantastic. And that's what we really love to do.